Did you think about doing porn earlier in your life, or is it like when you started stripping, or is it just something that just kind of naturally
I
developed?
actually didn't think about doing it earlier in my life. Like, I started stripping, and while I was stripping, like, I always wore like a silk robe and stuff. I was a very modest stripper. I know that's funny to say, but like, until you was paying me, you didn't see anything.
Yeah, well, yeah,
or
I'm
like
sure that makes
stage
sense.
shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, so porn was not on the menu in my brain for a while.
Really?
It just wasn't. And then
well, that's cool. I mean,
I started meeting people that were doing it, and I realized, hey, it's not that bad of a thing. It seems like they enjoy it. They enjoy the control they have of what they're shooting. It's not just like free range. You're being disrespected here and there, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it seems like the industry is very different from what it used to be in certain ways. Like the fact that you have a lot more control over what you do, the fact that you're not as reliant on companies now for making content. Like you can make your own stuff. I mean, so that I'm sure that's that's very helpful now for people getting in.
It is for me. I'm grateful for the experiences I've had with companies and also learning to do it myself. So,
were you the only BBW in that club?
I was, yes.
And I'm curious then, how did why do you think that if you were the only one there that you were the exception? Like, was it just something that they just...
So before then, I did some modeling, and I seen that this club was hiring. So I was sending pictures first because they asked you to do that, like sending pictures. I'd went to other clubs, and they turned me down. But I seen this one was hiring. They asked for pictures first, so it really wasn't a waste of my time just to send in like some modeling shots. Did that, and they were like, well, if you come in and you can actually dance and you're confident, we'll see how things go.
Well, that's cool.
And they obviously went really well because I did it for several years. So...
Yeah, and so how was it then, say, being the only BBW in that environment?
It was different, definitely different, because sometimes men aren't attractive to BBW. So,
yeah.
But on that aspect, I can talk about anything. Oh, you watch football? We can talk about the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I would get tipped for just having great conversations with people.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it's probably illegal, but like giving them massages, like shoulder massages and stuff. Like, oh, you don't want to lap dance, but you worked hard today. Or like playing cards with them or something. Just like...
Just hanging out with them almost. Like, did you get hostility from the other dancers? Or...
Not really at first, but like when I started doing better, like some of them like, fuck you, you know?
Really?
Because their customers ended up liking me more because I wasn't drunk at the club.
Oh.
So I remember them. I remember what we talked about.
Okay.
Okay. So.
That's interesting. Because, maybe because they thought that they could just coast on maybe what they thought was, oh, I don't need to actually pay attention to these people.
Yeah.
And I can just pretend and then, and guys are, I feel like guys are a lot savvier than some people might give them credit for in those situations.
Some are, and then some just enjoy they don't care that you don't remember. Like some don't.
Yeah.
But then you find the ones that do care, and then every time I dance, I could guarantee that they're going to tip me well or spend good money on me because we have a good connection. So.
Yeah. And when you would dance, you would like main stage stuff. I'm curious, what kind of music were your selections typically?
Usually like R&B or...
Okay.
Yeah.
So standard stuff then?
Yeah.
For that?
The standard club music, you know.
Because it's interesting when sometimes you'll hear... I've heard some interest... Like, I think I heard like 9 Inch Nails once at a club, and I was this is an interesting choice to dance to.
Yeah. A lot of the girls at that club would dance to like rock music and stuff like that. And I'm like, don't do it for me, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But so when you were dancing, were you only at that? So you were only at that one club. Did you ever like think about trying to? Because there are places that do like BBW nights and stuff like that.
Well, it ended up that club. The owner died, and I had to go to a different city, and I worked there, and then I ended up working at 2 clubs at the same time.
Okay.
And then I learned about the BBW nights in different states. We don't have them in Kentucky's where I'm from.
Okay.
So we don't have them in Kentucky, but I was going to Memphis for them.
Okay.
So Tennessee.
All right. And were those usually pretty, pretty
those
cool,
are fun.
pretty fun?
Shout out Queen of Diamonds Entertainment in Memphis, Tennessee. those were great. I met some really good people.
Mhm.
Really good people.